Also, currently, International Relations Department of Adamas University is actually working on a student progression and pathway model where undergraduate students like you can spend your first 2 to 3 years of your bachelor's degree here at Adamas University. And for your final year, you can actually travel to any of the renowned universities of the UK, US, Canada, or Australia to complete your graduation. So these are just some of the initiatives of International Relations Department which I had shared with you today. Of course, there are plethora of opportunities awaiting you. Also, I would like to make an announcement today that this happens to be your university or a central level orientation program for you all, after which you will all be having a school level orientation program for the next 4 days in this week. And the IR Department of International Relations Department of Adamas University will be reaching out to each one of you at your respective schools in the next 4 days to share all the details of the initiatives and opportunities that await each one of you. On behalf of International Relations Department of Adamas University, I welcome each one of you to Adamas University all over again. And I'm here to say that the IR department is always there with you at each and every step of your journey at Adamas University for your quest and for your search for global aspiration. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, it is my honor to introduce a renowned scholar and former director of one of India's premier research institutions, Professor Bimal Roy, former director of the Indian Statistical Institute, is here with us, and he has his exceptional contributions to the field of statistics and research. We are eager to listen to you, sir. We are waiting for your insightful speech. The podium is all yours.
বাংলাতেই বলি, ঠিক আছে? সবাই বাংলা বোঝে তো? আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, হ্যাঁ, ও আচ্ছা, মাঝে মাঝে ইংরেজি বলবো। ওকে, সো লেট মি স্টার্ট উইথ ইংলিশ। Let me first thank the Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor, and all others, dignitaries, and especially the Prof. Dr. Goswami, who got me here. And I'll just tell you a story. No other part of my speech. A story, I think that will tell a student like you, as young as you, are capable of doing something very great. So I'll tell a story. It's a real one. It's not really a fiction. So I'll initially have a little bit of history and politics, but that's only to set the stage for my actual problem. So all of you know that in 1947, well, India got independence. India got independence. But at the same time, India was divided to two countries, India and Pakistan. And the division affected only two states, Bengal and Punjab. And after the independence, after the division, the scenario in eastern part of Bengal, which was called East Pakistan, and the western part of Punjab was horrific. There were, I wouldn't say this was a danga, I would say this was just a genocide, and it was so horrific that my parents who moved from there, they never referred 1947 15th August যখন দেশ স্বাধীন হলো, বলে যখন দেশ ভাগ হইল। তো আমি আমার বাড়িতে এটা শুনেই বড় হয়েছি, যখন দেশ ভাগ হইল, স্বাধীনতা ব্যাকসিটে। So my story goes to Punjab. Punjab got divided, and the West Pakistan, Lahore and those area, mostly Sikh people existed. আমাদের সর্দারজিরা সব ওখানে থাকতো। They were being harassed, butchered, killed, property stolen, girls raped, whatnot. So the Sikhs were running away. There was one train from Lahore to Delhi. And the train used to come to the old Delhi station, which is near the Red Fort. So Sikhs in thousands and thousands, they were boarding that train and coming to Delhi. And what would they do? They would find the Red Fort, the nearby place. So they took refuge in Red Fort. So days go by, the Red Fort is full of refugees, Sikh refugees. Now, Pandit Nehru was appealing to them that you cannot occupy a place like Red Fort, you have to vacate it. But the Sardajis were in a very pitiable state. They said, no, unless you come in terms with us on some package of rehabilitation, we are not going to vacate this Red Fort. And Pandit Nehru didn't want to again torture them. He said, okay, we'll come up with some package and then you should vacate it. But meanwhile, they had to be fed. We don't know how many refugees are there, and they made sure that nobody would be allowed to enter inside this Red Fort. They were very scared. They could be forcefully pulled out. So all those hotels and restaurants around the Chandni Chowk area, they were asked to supply them food. So they will leave the food, and after the meal is over, they will place back all the utensils. So morning once, lunch once, dinner once. So 3 times a day. So after a week, the government got a bill for the food. The bill looks like there are 160,000 refugees. Now if you have visited Red Fort, you could just imagine that it's out of question. 160,000 refugees cannot stay in that premises of Red Fort, out of question. And that day, our founder and director of Indian Statistical Institute, P.C. Mohalanovish, was visiting Delhi because he was the advisor to Prime Minister Pandit Nehru. So Pandit Nehru asked him, Professor, can you estimate how many refugees are there in that Red Fort area? And he said, what nonsense question, Panditji? Just go and count. Why do you want to estimate? And then Pandit Nehru says, okay, Professor, I know that. If I could meet them, I could count. But you cannot meet them. You cannot meet them, you cannot get inside the Red Fort. But still, can you estimate the number of refugees? Because I'm paying for 160,000 refugees for the food items, which I think exorbitant. There cannot be so many people. So P.C. Mohalanovish comes back to Kolkata. And that time ISI was small, so he calls all the students and professors for a meeting. And he talks about this problem, that can we think of estimating the number of refugees without meeting them? You cannot meet them, you cannot get inside. So all the renowned professor researchers, one by one, backed out. So who remained in the class, in the room? Two youngest students, J.M. Sengupta and D.B. Lahiri, like you, very young student, new student. They said that, Professor, we'll give a try. You arranged to send us to Delhi. So next morning, these two students were sent to Delhi. They met Pandit Nehru, and they said that, well, this is our plan. Now, what is their plan? That is the innovative idea. Only the young mind can think of, people like us can never think of. He said, okay, the food is being cooked by all these nearby restaurants and hotels. Now, they are not going to, because they are not going to give the right information, because they are charging more. But they must be buying the grocery from nearby grocery store. And they are not going to buy, say, sugar or oil from Calcutta or Lucknow or from Madras. They are buying from all nearby grocery stores. So I need a list of all grocery stores with a 15-kilometer radius of the Chandni Chowk area. Can your officer help me? He said, oh, okay, done. So next day, 2 officers were given to him. given to these two students, and they made a list of all the grocery stores around this Chattanooga area. And they thought of asking them just 3 questions in a sequence. Now, they assume that, well, the grocery that the hotels are using for cooking the food of the refugees must be bought from one of these ones. So their sale must have gone up because they are catering to more people, these hotels. So the sale of the grocery stores must have gone up. So they want to get an idea of how much sale has gone up. Now, if you go and ask a grocer, there are so many items: rice, wheat, oil, sugar, salt, spices, all dals, and etc. If you ask a grocer that did you sell more rice last week, did you sell more sugar last week, he's going to get bored and not cooperate. So I want to ask only a single question. So there comes the innovative part. Now, if in our food habit, if I think of week to week how we eat, so some week we may eat more rice, some week we may eat more wheat or maida. Some week we may utilize more dal, some week may more vegetables. Now all these are variables, all food items, except one item. So no matter what we eat, one item we use in a almost constant quantity. If I eat rice or pulao or biryani or mangsher jhol or macher jhol or potoler dalna, in the entire meal system, the intake of one item remains constant. So can one of you tell me what is that item? Salt, right? Salt. See, salt, we have to consume certain amount of salt. No more, no less. So that was the first innovative idea of those 2 young students, that salt is the invariant. This is a very important term in statistics, invariant. So salt is invariant here. So they will go and ask the grocery that, did you sell more salt last week? If they say no, no further question. If they say yes, the next question comes. Why do you think you have sold more salt? They may say, এখানে তো অনেক উৎসব ছিল, এই ছিল সেই ছিল, লোকে বেশি নুন কিনে নিয়ে গেছে, অনেক, সেটা বললেও নো থার্ড কোশ্চেন। কিন্তু অনেকেই বলছিল ওই যে রিফিউজিদের রান্না হচ্ছে না, ওই হোটেলগুলো বেশি বেশি জিনিস কিনছে, নুনও কিনছে বেশি। So if that is the case, that they are buying more salt because these hotels are utilizing it to feed the refugees, then comes the third question. So how much salt did you sell last week additional to your normal one? That they could answer. Just one very simple question. Last week, how much more salt did you sell with respect to your usual sell? They could say 60 kilo or 80 kilo or something like that. So they got all the data, and they got in the last week, in 1 week, what was the amount of salt used for cooking the food for the refugees. Clear? That is number 1. Number 2, they went to there are lots of Sikh families. The food habits of Sikhs, either in west or east, is the same. So they visited a few Sikh households, 15-20, and asked the lady, how many members do you have in the family? She may say 5, she may say 7. And they say, how much salt do you use in a week? The lady cannot tell in a week. The lady can tell in a month. He says, okay, last month I have spent 3 kilo, I have 7 members. They may say, I've got 5 members, I have spent 2 kilo. So they get a list, number of people in the household, and amount of salt used in the whole month. On the Chotawala Wiki Niyam, so they can find out very simply per capita, per week consumption of salt. Ekdom class 5 এর ঐকিক unitary method of class 5. So they found out from this information what is the per capita per week consumption of salt of a standard Sikh member. And what they got on the other hand, amount of salt being used in a week to prepare the food for all the refugees. And you divide this by this, what do you get? The number of refugees. And the number came out to be 40,000 only. So they reported the Prime Minister, sir, this is our estimate, this is our method. So he was very happy. They were sent back to Kolkata. And their important prize was that the Prime Minister patted their back. Now, so the government officers shout at the hotels. Immediately the bill comes down to from 1,60,000 to 60,000. Bill came. After a week, some deal was reached. So all of the Sikh refugees left. And that time they were counted. And the number was 39,800. Okay? And this is, you can get internet, J.M. Sengupta, D.V. Lahiri, and the famous salt example. And only a student like as young as you could think of this very innovative method. All the professors failed. So that's the inspiration, you have to get it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, it is my honor to introduce Mr. Shubhajit Datta, the Zonal Head of ICICI Prudential AMC Limited. With his extensive experience in banking and finance, Mr. Datta has been a key player in driving finance services, creating impactful business strategies.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My respected dignitaries, students, and the parents. Are we all hungry? Yes, no? Great. So I'll not take much of time and yeah, I'll not take much time. Just a quick exercise, maybe for a minute. Can we stand up, please? Thank you so much. Hello. Yeah, thanks. So we'll do a small exercise, and this is in respect to the parents who are outside and our teachers, right? So for them we are here. We are here only for our parents and our teachers. So we'll salute them. We'll obviously no amount of thanks are sufficient, but maybe we'll just try once. Can we clap for them as loudly as possible? Little more, I see few of us are not clapping. Come on, little more. Thank you so much. Thank you. You can have your seat, please. Yeah, today I'm little jealous of you, honestly. Around 20 years back when I was sitting there, I was dreaming to come this side. And I'm sure each one of you one day will come this side, definitely. Right? But that day you will miss the other side, which I'm doing. And I'm jealous for another reason. The reason for the abundance of opportunity that is there. Believe me, I was just going through an interview, so where it is called that this is the best time to be young in India. India is undoubtedly the fastest growing major economy in the world. This is the youngest country in the world. And the amount of opportunity which is available, I'm sure all my seniors here will agree to that. None of us got that opportunity during our times, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years, decades back, right? So you all are in front of that opportunity. Now the question is it so easy? The answer is yes and no. For few of us, this is going to be very, very easy. For few of us, unfortunately, it will not be very easy. Right? So one side, there is opportunity. The other side comes the preparation. Are you ready to take that opportunity? So with my 17, 18 years of experience in corporate world, every time when we go and try to pick the right candidate for the job, most of the time we find the lack of attitude. It's not the lack of talent. Right? So when we discuss among different other industry professionals, each and every industry is struggling with only one thing, that is getting right resource. Right? So what we need to do in next coming 2, 3, 4 years, the time that you are here in this beautiful campus, this is the most exciting time of your life which is going to come. But this is the most transformative time of your life. You have to unlearn few things you have learned in schools. In schools, we have learned how to compete against each other. Here you have to learn how to collaborate with each other. Right? That is what will be required in your jobs. That is what you will be requiring in your professional career. How many of us think we are smart workers? Please raise your hand. Only a few I can see. Come on. How many of us think we are smart workers? Only this many smart students. Come on. Okay, how many of us are hard workers? We consider ourselves very, very hard-working people. A little more, I'm glad. Believe me, it may sound cliche, but absolutely there is no substitute of hard work. If you feel the project can